Leo Tolstoy, the author who turned life into a novel, and the novel into life. Leo Nikolaevich Tolstoy, 1828 to 1910, was not only one of Russia's greatest novelists, but also one of the most prominent moral philosophers and reformers of the 19th century. Born into an aristocratic family, he led a turbulent life. From a dropout student of law and Oriental languages at Kazan University, to an army officer in the Caucasus and the Crimean War, and later, a philosopher and social reformer. His experiences on the battlefield, his travels, and his encounters with different cultures gave him a profound insight into humanity, society, and the meaning of life. 19th century Russia, a time of upheaval and transformation. Tolstoy wrote War and Peace in the 1860s, a period when Russia was rapidly changing after its defeat in the Crimean War and the Emancipation Reform of 1861, which freed the serfs. The aristocracy and landowning classes were facing a new social order, while the memory of the empire's grandeur and the Napoleonic Wars was still vivid. Instead of dwelling on the politics of his own day, Tolstoy turned to a pivotal moment in Russian history: Napoleon's invasion of 1812. Blending history and philosophy, War and Peace is neither just a story of war, nor simply a tale of aristocratic love and life. It is a masterful fusion of meticulous historical detail, everyday life, philosophical reflections on free will and destiny, and deep conversations about life's meaning. Tolstoy used his characters to show both the personal face of war and its broader social and historical dimensions. A global literary landmark. Since its publication, critics and writers around the world have hailed War and Peace as a masterpiece. Henry James called it the most comprehensive novel ever written. Isaiah Berlin famously described Tolstoy as a fox who wanted to be a hedgehog, a writer who saw countless scattered details, yet sought a single overarching truth. With more than 580 characters, and a scale that spans from the glittering salons of St. Petersburg to the battlefields of Borodino, the novel remains a towering benchmark for historical and philosophical fiction. Imagine opening a book and stepping into two worlds at once. The opulent parlors of Russian high society, where champagne flows and political gossip is as sharp as the tailoring, and the grim, chaotic fields of battle, where strategy and survival collide. War and Peace sweeps us into the early 19th century, at the height of Napoleon's power. As his armies threaten to engulf Europe, we meet a vast cast of characters: nobles, soldiers, dreamers, cynics, each of them caught between the currents of history and the tides of their own hearts. Among the central figures is Pierre Bezukhov, a socially awkward but idealistic young man who suddenly inherits a fortune, forcing him to navigate a world eager to shape him. Then there's Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, a disillusioned aristocrat seeking meaning, whether in glory on the battlefield or in love's quiet refuge. And Natasha Rostova, brimming with youth, charm, and impulsive passion, serves as a heartbeat for the story. Her growth mirroring the unpredictability of life itself. The novel moves fluidly between glittering ballroom dances in St. Petersburg, intimate family gatherings in country estates, tense strategy sessions in army tents, and epic battle scenes that will test the strength, courage, and beliefs of everyone involved. Tolstoy doesn't simply recount events. He immerses us in the ebb and flow of life. We see joy, grief, ambition, betrayal, and resilience, all set against the backdrop of history's relentless march. The result is an experience that feels at once intimate and grand, a richly woven tapestry of personal and national destinies. Tolstoy's genius lies in how he shapes his characters into living, evolving beings, rather than static, historical types. Pierre Bezukhov begins as an uncertain outsider, a man carried along by circumstance, rather than steering his own fate. His spiritual restlessness, dabbling in Freemasonry, questioning the meaning of life and morality, serves as the philosophical spine of the novel. By the end, his journey becomes an inward conquest, a victory over confusion and aimlessness. Prince Andrei Bolkonsky starts as a man searching for purpose in war's glory, but is gradually humbled by personal loss and disillusionment. His character embodies the theme that true nobility often emerges from suffering rather than status. Natasha Rostova represents vitality, naive passion, and the challenges of maturing in a complicated world. She's symbolic of Russia itself. Impulsive, spirited, and enduring. Capable of recovery after great wounds. Supporting figures from the pragmatic Kutuzov to the vain Anatole, each function as a mirror reflecting Russia's moral and social spectrum. Tolstoy threads symbolic motifs throughout. Nature plays a key role. The changing seasons often mirror the transformations within characters' lives. A birch tree in early spring can resonate as strongly as a major plot twist. War versus peace isn't simply literal. War often stands for turmoil in both society and the human psyche. Peace is the elusive, inner harmony that characters strive for. Dance scenes and feasts represent moments when societal roles are solidified or contested, while battlefields strip these illusions down to the raw essence of human survival. Free will versus historical determinism. Tolstoy challenges the idea that history is shaped solely by great men. Instead, he argues that millions of individual actions, often unconscious, are what truly move nations. The search for meaning. For both Pierre and Andrei, life's purpose remains elusive until stripped of illusions. War, social status, romantic idealism. What's left is a quieter, grounded truth. Resilience and transformation. Loss, grief, and mistake are inescapable. But identity is not fixed. Characters who endure, adapt, and reconnect to human empathy survive best. The ephemeral nature of glory. Tolstoy dismantles the romantic myth of war, showing its chaos, banality, and moral ambiguity. The novel resists being neatly categorized. It's a historical epic, a philosophical treatise, and a domestic drama, all at once. Tolstoy pushes us to see history not as a backdrop to individuals, but as an organism made of their lives, their loves, and their choices. In this worldview, no battle is more important than the one for personal integrity. Even though War and Peace was written over 150 years ago and set in the early 1800s, its heartbeat hasn't slowed. It still speaks directly to the 21st century reader. At its core, the novel asks, why do we live? What gives meaning to our choices? How do we react when history crashes into our private lives? These questions are as urgent today as they were in Tolstoy's Russia. Whether we face wars, pandemics, or social upheaval, the tension between personal dreams and larger world events remains unchanged. Modern warfare may use drones and cyber tactics instead of muskets and sabers. But the damage, human, psychological, and societal, remains familiar. Tolstoy's rejection of war as noble spectacle resonates strongly in an era of constant global conflict. His insistence on the human cost over the political triumph fits our modern skepticism about war narratives. The range of characters in War and Peace, from generals to peasants, is a model for how literature can expand our perspective. In today's polarized world, learning to see through the eyes of many social strata and worldviews is as much a civic necessity as it is an artistic pleasure. While history's tides are beyond any one person's control, Tolstoy suggests that dignity, kindness, and moral clarity are always within reach. This idea that inner peace is possible even in a turbulent world fits modern self-development philosophies, mindfulness trends, and the growing global interest in ethical living. From BBC series to Russian ballets, and even passing references in memes and podcasts, War and Peace continues to inspire adaptations and creative discussions. Being familiar with it is like having a key to a larger cultural conversation, one that stretches from 19th century literature seminars to online fan analyses. War and Peace is more than a book. It's a living, breathing world. One that swallows you whole. And when it releases you, you're not quite the same. Tolstoy doesn't hand you easy morals or tidy resolutions. Instead, he offers 1,000 small reflections on love, ambition, duty, pride, grief, and the quiet contentment that sometimes follows chaos. And in doing so, he mirrors the messiness of life itself. The novel's lesson is subtle, but insistent. History is not just made by emperors and generals. It's written in kitchen tables, whispered confessions, and choices no one else sees. And while we can't master history's tides, we can steer our own small boats with integrity. Reading War and Peace is like standing on a high hill and watching the sweep of years below. Battles rage, people change, the seasons turn, and the world keeps moving. But it also reminds us that the human heart, with all its contradictions, remains constant. Tolstoy leaves you with the sense that life's greatest victories are inward, finding meaning beyond ambition, and holding compassion when the easy choice would be indifference. It's a truth as relevant now as in 1812. And as useful in navigating our own turbulent times as any piece of modern advice. When you close the final page, you carry with you not just a story, but an understanding. That piece is rarely found on the map. It's found within.